Okay. All right. So we're back here once again on another episode of Couch Coach Live, another Wednesday night edition of Couch Coach Live under the lights. Here, what's going on, Maui?
What's up, man?
Nothing much, you know.
How
The
was
same
how
old.
was how was your week?
Oh man, week wise was good. The weekend was awesome. Obviously,
Right.
Going back to covering the Kickers, their home opener on Saturday,
Hmm.
that was great. And then going to the Raceway, to cover the Toyota Owners 400 race at the Raceway.
Hmm.
So it was a great weekend. It was definitely a memorable weekend to say the least. It was fun. It was very fun and kind of got myself kind of back into the groove. So
Right.
it was great. It was a great weekend.
So the first game with the Kickers, it was a weather issue.
Yeah, it was a lightning delay, and that was so funny,
Right.
right? So
Uh-huh.
it was lightning. So the game started at 6. So
Hmm.
the game was almost over. It was like 7. It was like maybe like 10 minutes to 8. So the game
Hmm.
was virtually over. It was like 10 minutes left to go in the game, and then lightning started happening. And then that's when it all happened. And then what was funny about all that? They have a rain playlist. So to pretty much what ended up happening, everybody had to evacuate the stadium. But obviously, with us being in the press box, we were fine. We just stayed where we were.
Right.
So they still playing arena music. So during the midst of all this, they're playing they were playing Purple Rain. They was playing It's Raining Men. We was like, I was dying laughing. My sense of humor, dude, it was so hilarious. But yeah, the game ended up. I think it started back up around 10. Then I think they had 10, there was 10 minutes left, and then they had 17 minutes of stoppage play.
Right.
So they ended up. So yeah, but the Kickers did lose. Not yesterday. Wow, Saturday.
Right.
But they back at it. They back at it tomorrow night on Thursday. So
Okay.
yeah, it was fun to get back there. It's been a while, but
Right.
yeah, it was great.
Must be springtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah, hell of a weekend to say the least. Yep.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yep. Definitely looking forward to those opportunities. Go back to to Carytown and watch the boys play. So yeah.
Yeah. Brother's birthday and all that. He was at the Final Four, man. Called me on his birthday. I was like, man, happy birthday to you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, he's just having a ball. I saw the pictures. That was great, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was a packed up weekend, man.
Oh, man, that's got to be, that's the life. Going to the Final Four.
Right.
Yeah, that's dope. But, yeah, man, so we definitely got a great show lined up for you. So, definitely we'll talk about, as you alluded earlier about the Final Four. We'll talk about we'll lead off. We'll talk about LSU, the women's winning the national championship. Then we'll talk about America's favorite English teacher, the First Lady Jill Biden, how she kind of backtracked and what she had to say. So we'll talk about America's favorite English teacher. Uconn winning the Natty, and one of the biggest questions is, are they a blueblood in college basketball? And then, as we know that the NBA season is coming to a close on this week, so we're gonna kind of have a little crystal ball, kind of think to ourselves, what are some good first round matchup that we can that would be on our wish list if we had it our way. And we'll talk about some other stuff, and then also put a bow on the show with our Gameball this weekend and our final thoughts. So what we do, we'll be right back. We're gonna kick that intro, and we'll catch you guys on the other side of the intro. We'll be right back. And we're back here on Couch Coach Live. This week's episode of Couch Coach Live is sponsored by the good folks at Goalie. Head over to goalie.com. Use the promo code Couch Coach at checkout. So as we kind of teased a little bit earlier, we definitely got to start the show off with the girls from La Baton Rouge.
Right.
Give a shout out to the Lady Tigers, Go Tigers, and their 102-85 victory over Iowa. This is actually the first national championship for LSU in as far as basketball wise, even men's and women's. So this is their first ever championship for LSU. Kim Mulkey, once again, another championship win. She's undefeated in championship games. Definitely huge shout out to, as Lil Wayne called her, Coach Kim. And obviously LSU with their 102 points, they scored the most points in the national championship since 1986 when the Longhorns beat the USC of the West. Because down here the USC is South Carolina. I digress. That's that Mid-Atlantic swag. But so Jasmine Carson led the way with 22 points. Alexis Morris with 21, and our girl Angel Reese. From DMV, 15 points and 10 rebounds, and also and also with our Caitlin Clark poured in 30 points in the loss. And shout out to them, man! 9.9 million views this weekend, and that is a 103% increase. And it was a sold out crowd in Dallas.
Right.
Your thoughts on this LSU women's team winning the Natty?
I mean, it's great, man. Team effort. Like Reese, basically, like you said, to me, Carson was the best. She was shooting her lights out. She was the best player on the court, to be honest with you. But you can say Reese too with those 10 rebounds and 15 points. But basically, it was a team effort. I mean, 22, 21, 20, and 15. Like, you know what I mean? Like they was balling. Like Iowa didn't have nobody but Clark. You know what I mean? And no offense, Clark actually probably most likely was the best basketball player or the superstar on the court, hands down. Like, I had never really watched her before. I heard of her, and when I was watching, I'm like, oh, you just got to look at her different. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, and I'm sure that's why we're having this conversation, but we'll go there. I would say what I saw was the coaching and the adjustment of it was becoming a shootout between Carson and Kate and Clark. But what LSU did is they said, okay, we gonna go mid game, we gonna hit high percentage shots. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it, Iowa shot 33 pointers and only made 14, and that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that. That was like, you know what I'm saying? So I always feel like when you at a championship game or important game, the last 5 minutes are very important. And you have to play basketball rather than hooping, which, you know what I'm saying? Like it has to be some plays. It has to be things that you know for a fact you can get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that's what LSU did. You know what I mean? And once you start making those shots and the other team is trying to play catch up, it's hard. You know what I mean? But shout out to them, man. If you want me to keep going, like I said, we were just talking, a couple years ago about the WNBA. And seems like to me, the real issue is they should not be playing in the NCAA next year. They should be going to the WNBA. And it should be like when the last time you saw something like this, Bird and Magic, maybe, would they have this much momentum? It should be going into the WNBA rather than the NCAA. That's just my opinion, because you may not be able to go, like they may play. I think they got the first game of the season next season. I think that's what I heard today, and they're gonna get the viewership. And yeah, I'm sure they're getting paid too because of NIL, whatever. But the WNBA need them. You know what I'm saying? And by the time they get there, the momentum might not be the way it was, right? Like it is right now. But anyway, on you.
And it's weird because even to your point where it's the inverse, where like when we talk about in the men's game, it's almost like when you're in college, you kind of you're a star, but then you become a superstar.
Right.
But it's weird. It's in the inverse when it comes to women's sports, and it's one thing can never put my brain.
Right.
My brain really can't comprehend it. Where you got players, like think of like I think of Breonna Stewart. I think of other players in the past where they were legends in college, and then they're
Right.
they're still stars in the WNBA, but it's not as magnified as it is in college.
Right.
Like I think even like you look at like a Kelsey Plum, like she was
Right.
dominant when she was in college, but you just look at from that standpoint, it's just like it's weird how that happens. It's almost like you're more famous in
Right.
college than you would be in the WNBA, and hopefully that will change. That's
Right.
my biggest hope. Yeah.
Two things that I heard today was that I had never paid attention to was that by the time they go to the WNBA, they're older. They're not like, you know what I mean? Like he was like, man, they're more like adults. It's like they come from being high school legends than WNBA and by time. So that was one thing. I didn't even know that. And then the rivalry. I think that's the main thing that you're marketing is the rivalry and how are they going to play, how these two are going to be able to play in the WNBA. Like when was the last time that in the WNBA or in women's that you saw two, like a big rivalry that could be built from this?
And it's funny, I remember in the infancy of the WNBA, because I remember a lot of people was trying to hype up Lisa Leslie and Rebecca Lobo.
Right, I remember
back in those days. But I think obviously with the injury situation, and then of course coast to coast, Lisa Leslie in LA, Rebecca Lobo in New York. I remember that, like, as far as that being kind of like the maybe the WNBA equivalent of what's going on now in college. But obviously with Rebecca Lobo and those injuries, things happen with that. So I don't, and it's just weird. I don't even with a situation, even if they're older, but even like 2 or 3 years down the line, I wouldn't say they're forgotten, and I think they're just maybe just a byproduct of the WNBA in itself. But like you, but this is hopefully this could be something that kind of catapults it to the forefront, because you think this even madness, and thankfully this whole drama with the with the you can't see me is dead. So I'm glad to have a show now on a Wednesday, and that's something that that was one of my biggest fear. Like, oh, this is gonna be like the trending topic of it. Because like to me it was pointless, because we come from a generation. I know I come from a generation where I love when people trash talk, because it gets me more hyped. It's
in the video game.
It's gonna motivate me. It's gonna motivate you. But anyway, I just hope, like with this, maybe it can. I know for sure it's definitely gonna help college basketball out tremendously next year, because that game, that rematch, and then if they play again in the Final Four, that's gonna be another situation where we think that they hit 10 million views on that, essentially, because it was right at 10 million, on Sunday. And that's still impressive thing. That was at Sunday at 3:00 in the afternoon. That was impressive. Like, I mean, you gotta think this. That's really impressive. Like, just imagine if it was like in a prime time on a Sunday. That would have been. They probably would have hit that mark. They would have hit that 10 plus, because and compete with NASCAR, because that was right at the same time too. I like, man, that's pretty good. Because
that's what you have to take you got to take that momentum and do something with it. And I like even that like it's has the WNBA season started yet?
No, it's starting next month.
Next month, right?
Yeah,
but about a month. I feel people talking more about that game than the men's game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. Like, they really got to look at that. Like, we got to change some things, because them two girls should be going pro, and we should be talking, man, we can't wait for them to play one another. You know what I mean? They should be the new faces of that league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and hopefully that will happen for them. I know, like, a lot of people we look at, like, and even in this draft, like, if you look at like a lady like Aaliyah Boston, like what she'll do for the Fever. So like it's kind of interesting, like kind of how that works. And that's gonna be another one where she brings that star power, but it's just like how that's gonna translate to the WNBA. And that's one thing too, where I think sometimes the WNBA kind of maybe need to kind of model the college game, and even in high school. You think high school is popular as well. You think about now, you look at Juju Watkins from Sierra Canyon. She's going to USC. She's got this fanfare. She's a part of Clutch.
Right.
So you just think to yourself, like, well, USC in the West, but you just look at just from that standpoint of like they're getting it right. They're
Right.
high school, women's high school, and then also college. So
But
it's
that
one of those
Clark,
where but yeah, she's a beast. Yeah,
she's a beast, B. Like I looked
for
at them
sure.
stats. I said,
Yeah,
yeah, you can easily say you can't see me and you balled out too, Reese. But
yeah.
that girl put 30 piece and she
Oh,
was knocking down some threes. I was like,
did you see her when they played USC on Friday night?
no,
Oh man,
no.
she threw on a clinic like that mess because she thinks she scored with 42 in that game, 40
so
or 42.
right.
She was dominant, yo. She
So
was
let me ask
clean.
you a question. Since they got this this portal, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if she decided to go to another team? What if she
Injuries or Caitlin Clark?
Kate Hurt Clark, because that's why she didn't win. Like she could throw up 30, but what didn't nobody else on her team showed up. You look at the stats, nobody else showed up. They just showed up, they might have had a better chance to win. So what if she hit that portal and went to another squad?
I mean, she could. I mean, you think about it. I mean,
Right.
just like Angel Reese, because she was at Maryland.
She's at Maryland, right?
She's at Maryland, yeah.
Right.
Right.
You know
So,
what I'm saying?
and
That
I
would
don't
be
know.
cool.
It would be wild if she does that, but it would be interesting if she do that. That would be kind of.
And reason I'm saying that's the mind frame I think that you have to do, because they just hit 10 million. You know what I'm saying? And you got to look at yourself. They didn't watch that game just for that team. They watched it for her and the LSU, and she got beat by that team. That team beat her. So that whole LSU team beat that girl because that was the only one that was showing out. But anyway,
yeah,
I feel you.
And I was been pretty good all season, and I remember catch her like one of them Sunday afternoon games that they have on ESPN. I caught her one on a random Sunday afternoon. Yeah, she was killing it. And even Friday, like she just did her thing. But yeah, man, definitely huge shout out to the Lady Tigers on that win. So obviously, and Jill Biden, as we talked about, the first lady, everybody's favorite English teacher. So essentially, we know basically Jill Biden was at the Final Four in Dallas. And Kim, she was, wanted to talk to the team before the game, and they declined. So essentially after the game, I don't know when this comment came to fruition or whatever. I know as far as the date wise, but Jill Biden said, and I quote, "I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So we hope LSU will come. But I'm going to tell Joe, I think Iowa should come too because they played such a good game. And we all know the scrutiny that she got within this last about Wednesday, about the last 48 hours, as far as that. And I know like Angel Reese made some comments, said that was a joke and she don't want to go to the White House. She'd rather go see the Obamas. And then, she said that on the I Am Athlete podcast with your boy Brandon Marshall. And and all that's concerned what? But Class 84, that's my 84 brother. So it's all
that ain't my boy.
I mean, he 84. So
he's different.
He 84. So I gotta show him love. So it's all good. So she talked to them on the I Am Athlete podcast as well. So and obviously, Jill Biden did walk those comments back and pretty much said, hey, I'm, we, pretty much just backtracking, saying, we know we're just gonna just invite LSU. It's just it was just a thought. It was just something that kind of was like kind of off the cusp in a sense. So your thoughts on Lady Jill, First Lady, and what your thoughts on the First Lady's comments?
Ah, man, I don't have too much, man, because I know everybody kind of, and went deep into it, but I'm happy that she turned it around and said, "Oh," but it seemed like I was watching some people and they was like, "Well, she said she was going to talk to Joe. She didn't say that she was going to do it." But Me personally, the promoter in me was like, oh, y'all going like, this is what y'all need. Like, not more people that's not even interested in them two playing together is going to be interested in this game now. You know what I mean? Because why is the politics even talking about it like that? You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, them two girls need to go to the WNBA, just because we had conversation a few years ago about what we should do. But sometimes, man, people get that microphone in front of them and they just be talking and they don't understand. They can't, if you can't just think you can say whatever you want to. You get this camera, you know what I mean? You get these phones in front of you. You just got to watch what you say, because either you're going to show your true colors or you're just going to have your foot in your mouth. You know what I mean? Or people are going to take it and dissect it. You know what I mean? As much as they can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my take on it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, like, I will say this. I was talking to somebody about it too, and they said that's kind of like where this world is going, where everybody gets, they were saying everybody gets a trophy, and when you think about, competition, you work so hard just to get to a goal, and part of the goal may have been, we're going to win a championship so we can go to the White House. Some people, that might be part of their goal, but it takes from it if you try to change it and say we both there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's not tradition. If I play Madden and I win the Super Bowl, at the end of it, what happened? You would go and you would meet, well, certain ones anyway, you would go meet the president. Mm-hmm. I remember watching this movie with Richard Pryor. He played Danville, Virginia's Wendell Scott. And his biggest thing was not the check, not anything. He wanted the trophy because he was the first black man to win at that place. You know what I mean? So he was like, no, I want my trophy. I want to walk, do the lap run around. But, even though he still got the check and he still got his trophy, he said, no, I want to bring the crowd back. You know what I mean? Because those are the things that you work so hard to win for. So I think that, you shouldn't take those traditions from a competitor or a person that wins. You know what I mean? That it means a lot to them. But in this world now, they are trying to, like, hey, as long as you tried, you get to get a trophy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm, so not funny. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised, because this administration,
right?
and I'm just talking about from a sports perspective. So don't think I'm left, right, centrist, or whatever.
Right.
Like with Kamala Harris. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Everything that she does in this life. But when she went into Howard locker room after they got destroyed in the first round, and like, guys, you did such a great job. You made everything proud. They lost by almost 30 points. They lost by like 28 points. Like, no. Read the room. Do not go in these people's locker room after they got beat by almost 30 points. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised. This administration has done this in the last 3 weeks. The Joe Biden thing, I think it's just, I don't know. It's weird to me, like the fact that she even won at Iowa because they played so good. They got beat by 17. This is another, see how this is sounding. Now, I can see if, they lost by like a point. It was a heartbreaking fashion or something.
Right.
And they got beat. They got beat by 17 points. So to me, I'm not surprised. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not surprised that came out of Jill Biden's mouth. I am not surprised. And I'm glad that, she did get the flack from it, because that's just something that we don't do. We don't invite losers to the White House. We just that's just not tradition. Like, and I know, and even an idiot like Doug Gottlieb said, "Well, that's a good thing because it'll be bring awareness to women's basketball." They already got awareness. Them going to the White House is who really cares now? I mean, when you really sit down and you think about it, the White House, granted, and it's not to pin this on an administration or anybody.
Right.
This is where I go. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not a centralist. But the whole visit to the White House thing has lost its luster. It's not like something where it's like it's used to be so prestigious to go, regardless of who was at the helm for the presidency. So that has lost its luster in itself. So to me, suggesting that two teams should, the winner and the loser should come, no. Like I just don't think that. And I can see where the angle where just the fact it's great for college basketball, women's college basketball, because now it adds another layer to the publicity train that they need. It's to me, it's you're bringing up so much pub. You think about it here, and normally we talk about the top sports headlines of the week. Right. And we spent almost half an hour talking about women's college basketball, which is a great thing in itself. And this is and it's dominating every podcast, every topic within the last 72 hours. So this is another great layer of it. But I'm just not surprised. I mean, Jill, she walked it back, and I give her credit for walking it back because we know that won't gonna happen. And then she said she had to tell Joe. We know Joe gonna be like, nah. So she just did it out of y'all gotta just understand. Jill is just a sweetheart. She just wanted she want to accommodate everybody. She the woman that'll probably invite you over to the house and she invite you to the house and did you need something to eat? You want something to drink? Probably give you a nice warm hug and all that type of stuff. So it's come from a great place. Yeah, it came from a great place. But it's sports, and like you said, I got to ask Joe, and we know Joe gonna say hell no. So it's okay.
Yeah, because Joe represents, he knows what it means. Like, when I watch Forrest Gump, he went there a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he was a gold medalist. Like it's supposed to stand for something. If you get there, you get a medal. Like it's like a close person to me said that his two goals was in high school was to beat Petersburg, right? Because Petersburg was the big brother. And the second one was to make the tournament so he could run out through the tunnel in the Siegel Center. He didn't say he wanted to win state or anything like that, but that was a goal. You know what I mean? So a lot of these kids, the coaches that might have won championship, they talk about those things. They say, hey, man, you win the title, man. You get to go to the White House. You get to do this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe the luster is because one, I'm not either side either, but if I go to the White House and we eating dinner, I don't want Burger King and KFC and double quarter pounder from McDonald's. I don't want any of that. I want some the top shelf. I want to try. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't had that stuff in the insulated bag, and that John was just laying out there. Them quarter pounders with cheese just laying out there. Man, I like it. He a wild dude for that.
So for me, and I really was thinking about it today, and I was like, and my buddy said, "This is how the world's going. Y'all try so hard, everybody get a trophy." You know what I mean? And like they at a level, and then sports also for some people is supposed to take different people in different races and different different places that they come from. They come as a team, they win a championship, and they was able to put their differences away and they come together, and then there was supposed to be a triumph to be able to win this, and then we get to go to the White House. And some people dream about that. Some people dream of the being at the foul line with only 2 seconds left. You know what I mean? And you kind of took that from you took that luster from it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like some traditions got to stay traditions. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody loves change, but
Yeah. But I don't know. Your boy T Tizzle, hey, he would have got me with a McChicken and a 20-piece. So I'm just saying, T Tizzle, hey, you ever come back? Watch your boy.
I can see your face. I can see your face too, Sean. They just came out the grill. Like
Hey,
ain't that like some nuggets come straight out the grill, bro? I ain't gonna lie to you.
I ain't gonna lie. One of these things I covered before. They was throwing your boys some chicken sandwiches and fish sandwiches my way, and they were like, "Hey man, take some of them fish sandwiches on with you tonight. Say less."
That was
Say
funny.
less. Say
I
less.
remember when they showed the team. I think it was it Clemson that won. When they walked in there, you should have seen their face, and then it was like one dude was like, "Man, y'all tripping." He just started putting stuff on it. Hey. I mean, I'd have been extremely happy if it was the old Burger King, not this new Burger King. Yeah, boy, you know what I mean? Let me give me a 93 Whopper, not this 2023 Whopper. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm talking about
allegedly.
I'm talking about Dizzle. The Bads can invite me too. Hey, I mean, it's what it is, man.
You know, you like them boneless wings.
Hey, hey, I'm at a point. Hey, I get in where I fit in.
I'm telling you, hey.
If I invited somewhere, I figure it out. Hey, you got peanut butter and jelly and 2 pieces of bread. Bet that's all I need. And you got a fork. I mean, not a fork, but a knife.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So what about some cookies?
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm with it. I'm with it.
I'm telling you now.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. If I had 2 dates, right, and let's say one is okay, but okay,
yeah,
she cool, but if the other one is bad, and I'm like, what? And then if the one that's okay, say, I want to get you a boil. Let's go get a boil bag and blah blah blah. Yeah, definitely going with her.
It's on. It's on. Like, hey man, like when it comes to food, man,
I'm a sucker for the boil bags.
I'm easy to please.
I'm a sucker for the boil bags. I have to really go like, oh dang, man. She's like, Sean, for real, we've been waiting for this. Hey. So you gonna put extra sauce on the boil bag too? Yeah, I'm gonna have to holler at you next week.
Sure, I don't know. Your boy might go back up there this fall and be like, "Hey, man, you said I get some of them crispy chickens. All right, let me put them in my book bag. Hey, they've been for like 2 days. Oh man, I don't be carrying, man. I had a fish sandwich the next day and then a chicken sandwich the next. Man, I was eating done for like 3 days straight. I don't be carrying.
Hold up. This is a true story.
Hell yeah, it's a true story.
Where was this at?
I ain't saying that out loud, but they be like, oh, they know who they are. I tell you.
Tell me who we off air.
Oh yeah, I tell you off air. Oh yeah. Like, yeah, man, take some with you. You ain't got to tell me once.
Remember when we left and they was having like the little anniversary at the radio joint, and then we was like, oh okay, so we can get okay. You take this right here.
Hell yeah, that's how I'm always like that. I remember we had like a little, and I was with the other team in Carolina, and they were like, we had some leftovers. I was like, man, let me get the rest of this chicken salad. Well, we all going home tomorrow, so it's like, and I live, and I'm only like the next day, so I put it on some ice, and I ate for like 2 days off of that. I made some sandwiches.
Word. I feel you.
Why not?
I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Right. Big facts. Like, hey, man. It is what
I
it is.
ain't even mad at you. I know, man. We so independent. So when people we want to do stuff, I be like, shoot, go ahead, bet, man. Cool. If you want to, cool. Yeah. You want to take you some drinks? Yeah, I'll take some.
I learned the one thing: closed mouths don't get fed. So
right,
I'm holding my mouth paused, but
he said, "I'm gonna figure it out." Well, y'all got some bread, y'all got some peanut butter.
Yep, and got me a little knife. That could be a plastic little knife, and I'm good. Y'all had a paper towel so I can put the bread on.
Oh man!
Hell yeah! Hell, I might put it in my hand.
Man, you know what I remember about real quick before we move on?
Yeah.
When we went to Tennessee, I remember looking what kind of drink I was getting. They had one of those machines that made its own Kool-Aid. I was like, yo, we definitely in the South.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's the fat capital of the world, man. That's not like South is. It's different, man.
What kind of Kool-Aid you got? We got lemonade and red.
All right. No, fruit punch. But I used to, oh man, Kool-Aid, man. I was drinking orange Kool-Aid like for like about 2 weeks straight. I'm like, man, I bet they drew my blood. That'd be like, yeah. You know what? Your blood count is orange.
Yeah, I did that a couple weeks ago. My daughter was like, "Dad, I can make Kool-Aid." I said, "Oh, word, man! I done priced the powdered Kool-Aid from every store around.
How much is Kool-Aid now? I mean,
like the package is still around the same, but it's about what the powder joints is like I don't know, about $2.99, $3.20.
Oh, you talking like the big tub? I was going to say
The package is like 20. The package is like 28 cents.
Okay,
maybe a little bit more.
10 cents, like 15.
Oh yeah, that they ain't doing that no more.
That was in the 90s. I mean,
they want you to squeeze the jump, so
But yeah, yo, crazy.
I'm happy she backed up though and made it right.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Kayla's Lock, because she knew. I mean, I think that everybody was just so up in arms about it. I'm like, dude, it's gaming show. Like everybody just
right.
Y'all, y'all be the first ones. Well, we need to have equality. They need to be treated like the men. And then when they do some macho stuff, y'all like, well, they're just girls. They're not supposed to be doing that type of stuff. It's basketball. It's competition. It's not even like it's.
Right.
I hate that.
I know you do, but you have to understand that is part of it. Yeah. Like, remember we was having conversation about girls basketball, and I was saying, man, they should really start doing more, not just Twitter, which I'm happy Reese brung that up about Twitter is going to be blowing up later. So it seemed like to me, her and Caitlin, I mean, her and Clark and all of them are starting to tap into their social media, because that's what's going to help the league. I remember we was talking about that. I said, you want to figure out a way to get the younger generation involved a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because that's what's going to keep it going. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when Odell blonded his hair, and then you go to like the little Pee-wee games, you see all these little kids with a little bit of blonde hair. I remember going to AAU and going to these small little basketball games, and everybody looked like Clay. And everybody looked like, like Steph, and now they're gonna start looking like Ja. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that's a part of it. That's how okay, I got one even better. Like, because I was born in 78. I'm a Dr. J guy. I'm a Sugar Ray Leonard guy, because that's who was on Speed Stick. That's who was on the 7-Up commercial, right, when I was growing up. Well, around 84, 83, 84, something like that. It was this new guy came in. He was dark skinned. He wore baggy shorts. His shorts was baggier than everybody else, and he had some different shoes. But you want to know the main thing that they complained about, Coach, was his tongue hanging out when he played. Yeah. You know that? They had a problem with that. They was always complaining about, why does he play when he played? Why does he stick his tongue out like that? That is so disrespectful. That's inappropriate. I remember that when I was young, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't even talk about that no more.
And there's a movie about him
this weekend.
That starts tonight.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I thought about that today. I said, people, you know what I'm saying? But they don't talk about that, man. I remember them, and they even were asking him questions like, why do you have your tongue out when you play? And he was like, I don't know, it just happens. You know what I mean? Because that was part of it. He had his dunk out. He dunked the way he dunked, but he had a different shoe. And they don't talk about that. His shorts wasn't real tight like everybody else. They was a little bit more longer, a little bit more baggier. Not real baggy, but a little bit more loose. You know what I mean?
Not like TJ Ford. Not like TJ Ford, man.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Who is your man? Who is the center that used to play for Utah?
Back in the day, like as
Back
far
in the
as
day,
Mark
not
Eaton.
Ostertag.
Mark Eaton.
Yeah. He had some
Okay.
days. I was like,
Yeah,
damn,
all of them had the days to do. Yeah, shout out to Mark Eaton.
damn.
God rest his dead.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
What you said.
But yeah, that's something. Yeah, it's so funny, like how that's crazy, man. That is a trip. Like how the evolution of that. I think that's really
Yeah.
it's cool. Like what MJ did, with that, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's crazy.
You going to see the movie?
Yeah, more than likely it is a holiday this weekend, so yeah, I might try to.
This dude is a trip.
But possibly. I know it's a holiday this weekend, so I might not, but I don't know. I just see how it goes with the holiday.
Great marketing to put it out on Easter too. That was great marketing.
Yeah,
to get that slot. Yeah.
So we'll talk about the Uconn men's winning the national championship. They beat San Diego State 76-59. Uconn won their 5th national championship in the last 25 years. In this game, which is crazy, San Diego State had a 11-minute scoring drought in the first half that obviously pretty much put this game somewhat in cruise control. You look at performances by Tristan Newton, who had 19 points. Our guy, Adama Sangeo, from Uconn had the what did he have? 17 and 10. He was the MOP of the tournament. And then another DMV, Angel Reese's cousin, Jordan Hawkins, had 16 points in that victory. So your thoughts on Uconn winning the national championship, and are they a blue blood?
Okay, the blue blood question I'm gonna ask, but bottom line is both teams shot bad from 3. It really, to me, it seemed like, and that's why San Diego State's probably gonna be a little upset because they could have won this game. What was the ending score again?
76-59.
76-59. And they just didn't make their free throws. If they'd have made their free throws, they either would have won the game, would have been a little bit closer. Like, Uconn went to the free throw line 27 times. They made 24 out of 27 free throws. And then San Diego State only shot 20. They missed 15 out of 20. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just gotta make your free throws, man. Like, you got to, every opportunity when you were playing for important games, those rebounding, spacing, communication, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too important. You got to make your free throws. So shout out to them though. What else? Uconn got 6 blocks. But when you look at the stats, that's the only thing that really stood out to me was Uconn made their free throws. Now, are they a blue blood? I was trying to figure out what y'all really was saying. I think with this win though, it should make them, for the simple fact the question was there being asked, are they a blue blood? So then you start looking at the history and you like Ray Allen, Kimball Walker, Rudy Gay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember them. And I mean, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would compare them to UCLA. You know what I mean? I would compare them. Like, I do think Kansas and Duke and North Carolina is just a little different to me. Like, to me, like, they're like, if I don't really watch those, like, watch NCAA, or you kind of like household names, like you could say Kentucky but I will say they are blue blood. You know what I mean? I just think that Kansas, Duke, especially Duke and North Carolina, is just in a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? That's somewhere else. You know what I mean? But I think they are blue blood. Well, they got 5 championships now.
Yeah.
So they got more than UCLA, right?
I think UCLA got 8.
Okay, they got more than I think they got more than Kansas.
Tied. I think they're tied with, was it Duke? I forgot who else was it.
But
Yeah,
you got to give it to them then. If that's the case, if they're tying with Duke, or if you know what I mean, if they got multiples like them, you got to say that they are. Like you really got to start looking at them that way. And then like when the last time they won a championship?
2014.
Okay. When last time Duke won?
2015.
So now you look at that. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely a blue blood to me. I can't wait to see what you's gonna say.
Yeah, and it's one of those where to me they are blue blood. Like, and it's funny that Coach K agreed with me. I can say that, right? So Coach K agreed with me because we talked about it yesterday. Well, I'm not yesterday, but last week, one of the stories I was like, well, we got 3 Cinderellas and 1 blue blood, and I wrestle with the fact because when we think about blue bloods, we think about the tradition, winning, and then also what comes to the factor is actually viewership, which you look at, last year. Well, this year it was just the AP reported there was 14.69 million views. That's like the 17% lower than last year, and considering last year was on TNT. I think TNT or TBS, one of those. It was on cable. I wish it was a cable. I forgot what network it was on last year. But you got to think about it. I'm not sure who Kansas played in the national semifinal, but that was the Final Four that you had Carolina, Duke playing in the national semifinal, and then I forgot who Kansas played. But you think to yourself, like, those are the big names of college basketball. That's so you understand why they were up 17% prior to it. And then you look at even so this was the lowest rating on CBS since UConn last played in 2004 when they beat Georgia Tech in the national championship. So to me, their run is impressive. To me, in my personal opinion, they are blue blood. I think considering the fact of how they won in these last 25 years, where the evolution of college basketball has so many different layers. I mean, you think about when they won the national championship in 1999, it was like kind of traditional where you had guys staying, because you think about that was a team that had Rip Hamilton, Khalid El-Amin. You had guys who stayed in college for multiple years. How we grew the custom of that time. 2004, when they won that championship, that's kind of when you start seeing like the kind of the guys coming out of when they implemented the rule of kind of the one and done in a sense, because obviously that class 2004 we had Dwight Howard, Josh Smith, J.R. Smith, all those guys came out as far as coming out of high school, so they kind of stopped that thing in Deshaun Livingston, all that class in 2004. And then you just look at even modern era, like you look at 2014, that was kind of one of those years where like that one and done kind of came into prominence. You think about, at that time, like you think about that era at that time. And then now in 2023 with the transfer portal and all that. So they've won it in the various eras of college basketball evolution. So I definitely think they are a 21st century blue blood. I'll put it that way. So they do fall in that line as far as the Carolinas and Dukes, in my personal opinion. So I do like, because you can't you can't ignore the fact they've won 5 national championships. And you think about it in this century, essentially, because I mean they won a championship in 1999. So carry that over. This is a team that's won 4 titles in the 21st century. So shout out to Jim Calhoun to kind of when he in essence took over this program. I think in like 1986, his team was like terrible, and then they kind of became like a standard in college basketball. He led them to 4 titles, and then with Dan Hurley, the better brother, what he's doing at UConn now, and you look at
He's a trip.
I definitely think they are
so biased. The bitter brother. And then they've won 5 championships with what, 3 different coaches?
Just 2. Yeah.
Just 2? Just 2 coaches? But different coaches though, right? So
4 with Calhoun and then 1 with Hurley.
1 with Hurley. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think that with how long Hurley's been in, what, 18? He got there in 18?
When did Hurley get there? I'm gonna think about it. When did Hurley? Because Hurley been around. Let me see. Yeah, because I think Darren Hurley. Because I know, because who they had, like Kevin Ollie. Who else
did they win? Did they win with Kevin Ollie?
No,
because
I think Kevin Ollie, he came after, because remember Calhoun retired. Yeah, so he's been there since 2018.
Okay.
I want to say Kevin Ollie came after Calhoun. If my memory serves correct, because I think, where was he? Oh yeah, that's right. So okay. So was he? Okay. Hold up. So he was a head coach of Uconn. Oh, he was. Oh, I know he was the head coach at Uconn when they won at 14. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's 3 coaches, right?
3 coaches, yeah. So it was.
So yeah, they definitely
took Kevin Ollie.
I would say this. You look at that. I would say that with this win right here, definitely make them a blue blood, because that means that the 3 coaches since Calhoun, they have been able to turn the program around, and they win a championship. That's all it's about. You may not be able to win back to back, or because especially dealing with even not just the portal, even just, you win a championship, one and done, then you're trying to go to the league. You know what I'm saying? Your stock is good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would definitely have to say that they're blue blood.
Yeah, I forgot. It's crazy. I always thought he came after. I didn't know Calhoun been gone. He retired 11 years ago. Wow. That's crazy. Right. Time flies. He retired in 2012. Wow. I thought it was, I don't thought he was been gone. Maybe I didn't think he was gone for 10 years. I thought maybe like 8 years, maybe 6-7 years.
Right. Because, it's been conversation about the bubble pop up, right? And everybody act like that was so long ago. It is just 2023, and that was 2020.
That was 3
years ago.
Which
you know what I mean?
That's been a long 3 years, though. In all honesty,
right?
It's weird. Like, even I look at something like for 2021, it feel like that's been so long ago.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. Just I don't know. It's just a.
But you know what's weird? I still feel like we just went on the road like 2 years ago, 3 years. It don't seem like it was that long ago. Right. It don't seem like it was that long ago, B. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, 5 years ago. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it be like that. Time just flies. But yeah, so get into a little bit of NBA. So obviously, the NBA is gonna, pretty much the season's gonna be over this weekend. So how to playoff pictures? You still got some spots that kind of some places where they need to kind of. So some seeding has to be played out. Some people are firmly entrenched in their spot, and some have the opportunity to move up. So we have some matches that probably be set in stone. Yeah, I think you look at, I think for sure the lock of Cleveland and the Knicks, the Cavs and the Knicks. But so we'll start in the East. Which first round matchup that you want to see, like as far as a wish list, like as far as how the standings look now? What do you want to see is first round matchup in the East?
I couldn't do it. The only thing I could think about East. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It was. I was like, man, I don't know, but I can just say the matchup that I really would love to see. Mm-hmm. I would love to see the Hawks versus New York. Okay. I was really trying to put something together for the East, and I couldn't. Like, I really I like Chicago, but I think Chicago's missing something. You know what I mean? So I really couldn't say who I wanted them to play. and it's really nobody else. Like the Raptors, I'm not proud of the Heat. I'm not, it's really no team on the East that I'm really looking at. Like I think so. It was hard. I apologize. I tried, man, because I really tried. I really really tried, and it just nothing intrigued me. Nothing intrigues me. Like it's something even like you would think I would like Philly, but Philly looks slow and sick. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? It just looked like. And then I'm looking at Boston, and it's the same with Boston. It's like I think Boston should have got rid of maybe Griffin. I think Boston should have went and tried to get some type of young big man. You know what I mean? I will say this though, I'm still intrigued with the Nets. I like the guys they got from Phoenix, and I like the guys they got from I like Dinwiddie. So I think they might be a scary team that's going to probably break some hearts.
Yeah, because they'll probably play Philly. That's probably 3-6. So pretty much 3-6, 4 and 5 is set. So East is kind of damn near set. So obviously you got the Knicks and the Cavs, the first round, and then you got the Sixers and the Nets. So as far as from a playing perspective, I'm assuming Toronto's probably gonna get the AFC and they'll play Milwaukee. That's what I'm thinking. I think that'd be a nice first round matchup between them two. And then maybe Miami and Boston. I definitely want to see kind of what Jimmy Butler can do. And this is kind of one of those where Miami's at a crossroad. I think Miami's at a point where, okay, let's see how we do in this playing and if we can get in and then what we can do. Because it's to a point where they're backpedaling in a sense, but it's like, this is a good, barometer, especially in, that play, and hopefully they play like a Boston and get that 7 seed. Obviously I think they would beat Atlanta and then, in that first playing game. And then I'm assuming possibly Atlanta, but obviously I think Toronto will probably beat Chicago. I mean, that's just keeping a buck. And then, Toronto goes to Atlanta and beat the Hawks. So that's what I'm potentially thinking. But but I definitely think Cleveland versus the Knicks, especially considering the fact everybody, especially Donovan Mitchell's probably gonna be public enemy number 1 in MSG. So I want to see how he rises against that.
So that's great because I was thinking that too. I kept looking at the Knicks and I was like, man, I really love when the Hawks and the Knicks played each other and how, Trey, Ice Trey was just, he showed out. You know what I mean? I'm not scared of the stage, but then it's just something about the Cavs that make me so nervous, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just like kind of like the Heat did back in the bubble years. Remember before the bubble came, I was like, Miami's scary to me because I said them dudes shoot threes like the Warriors on the low. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel the same way with Murray and Mitchell. I feel like, man, it will be those guards gonna really have to stick them because they can knock down. They can give you both give you 40 to me, easy.
Yeah,
easy.
And that'll be, and whoever goes in that second round, I think he definitely pose a threat for Milwaukee. I'm not saying that they're gonna beat Milwaukee, but I think they can, and they can put a scare in Milwaukee. I think they can. It could be a definitely competitive, especially I think especially like a Cleveland team, especially with that with the size. So you look at our boy Evan Mobley,
right?
And then Jared Allen in the middle as well. So I like that as far as that but I don't like to put the cart before the horse. Just stick with the first round. So
I think Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee, which we already know, they're missing they're missing PJ Tucker. Like Middleton can knock down some shots, you know what I'm saying, but they need PJ Tucker to be able to switch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they never replaced anybody to take that position where you got a guy that can play really 2 through 5 that can play be physical with a person that's big. I don't think they, I think who did they keep? Portis, I think his name was.
Yeah, they got Bobby Portis. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not that guy. He can knock down a three, but he's not that guy.
He
And
can
I think
fight,
that's gonna be a problem. That's why I said this is really gonna be a good play because there's no standout that you could say, hey, because the Warriors to me wasn't supposed to win last year. You know what I mean? But um I don't know. I just think the Nets and the Cavs are probably gonna be the two wild cards in the East.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I know I shouldn't discount my Bulls, but man, I hope if we mess around and win, and Pat Bev be out here with the on the score table in
Are
Toronto.
they healthy? They healthy though, right?
Who, Chicago?
Ain't everybody healthy?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, it's
That's
been
the
the season,
main thing. That's the
but
main thing, B.
yeah, but that would be funny. If he do like he did last year with Minnesota. That would be hilarious. Like,
Great coaching. They got good coach. I watched them when they played the Lakers, and you know what I'm saying. If they just organize it, they'll be all right.
but yeah, it'll be funny if we do end up messing around winning, and then our boy Pat Bev gonna be going off. That would be hilarious, like he did last year with Minnesota.
Right.
That was so
When
funny,
he,
man. I
when he
swear.
was crying.
Yeah, that messed living my mind rent free. They did some great editing because they did all that. They celebrating. He on
Hmm.
there and did Carl Anthony Towns kissing his girlfriend Jordan Woods. That mess was hilarious. Like, and they were like, man, they look like they don't win a championship. Charles Barkley, come on, man, come on,
Come on, man.
Chuck, man, he's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
So, what about the West?
Oh, what did I put down for the West? Everybody against Memphis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whoever Memphis play. Let me see. Man. I don't know. Because I know they not. The West is so toss up, but I definitely would like to see the Kings versus the Warriors. That Bay Area. Um,
Yeah,
that Bay Area game would be crazy. Um, I put the Suns versus the Nuggets. I know as you said first round.
first round. Yeah.
I just didn't know really how to because it's such a toss up. You know what I mean? Like I don't think the Pelicans don't do anything for me because I don't think they play in the style that they could. I like the Thunder. They some good young guys, but I just couldn't pick. You know what I'm saying? How I wanted to because it's such a toss up. But I would like to see Memphis versus the Lakers. But probably the main thing, honestly, I would love to see the Kings versus the Warriors.
Yeah, and that's another one where we got some matchup that might be more than likely kind of set in stone. It's just
Hmm.
more so of just how it all going to play. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me. And I wouldn't say it's a lot between Phoenix and Golden State because I know Phoenix
Hmm.
is the fourth. I think currently Golden State is fifth. I think.
Right.
I'm gonna go and check now what I'm looking at now. So Phoenix and Golden State, they're 4-5. If that stays current, I wouldn't mind that because obviously we really think that Phoenix is probably gonna be a favorite. Obviously, with Kevin Durant, Booker, and CP3.
Right.
That's gonna be really intriguing. At Sacramento, I think my thing is I think Sacramento's probably end up playing the Lakers in the first round. I think that 3-6 is going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be a California matchup. I mean, regardless how you slice it up, it could be the
Hmm.
Clippers, it could be the Warriors. It's going they're going to stay within the same state. It's going to be
Hmm.
an Arnold Schwarzenegger special, all California matchup between somebody, one of these three. It's especially with Sacramento, I definitely would like to see that matchup. Memphis is interesting. I think Memphis might mess around and maybe play. I want to
The
say
Warriors.
probably if they slide.
Hmm.
And that's where it's going to be really interesting. If they slide to 7, that would be really interesting for the first round of the playoffs. If they slide, it's going to be interesting. Like because obviously we can at 9:45 as we recording live now.
Right.
This Clipper Lakers game, whoever wins this one is pretty much, if they win, somebody gonna get a week rest. The other one's gonna have to play probably 2 weeks.
Do the Warriors play tonight?
I don't know if the Warriors play tonight or not.
Let me see. I'm looking now.
So that's where you look at that 6 and 7. That 6-7 could be selected.
Today's the 5th.
Yeah.
They play Friday. So if the Lakers win tonight, the Lakers move to the 5th.
Oh, they moved to the 5th? Oh, hold on.
Yeah, because they beat the Warriors.
Okay. Yeah, so, and that's the thing. If the Warriors slip, that would be a good matchup if they. And the thing is, they would have to win that first game to play Memphis. So that's another one too, where they'll have a home game. So that's kind of the weird thing about it. And it's weird because like Minnesota's gonna be because to me, I look at it. New Orleans is probably just gonna be lucky because I think they might just get themselves in at that A spot and then maybe play in Denver. I can see that, but I definitely think the ultimate matchup. I definitely think I want to see Sacramento and the Lakers play. I want to see that as a first round matchup.
Word.
I definitely want to see just because it's almost like Sacramento's a great story. Like it's almost like they're in parallel universes.
Right.
You got a Sacramento team that is a good young team, lacks playoff experience.
Right.
You got a Lakers team that has experience, especially when you think about LeBron and AD. They've won a championship together, and then you also got those other kind of pieces that haven't had that much playoff experience.
Right.
So I'm just curious, especially for a Sacramento perspective, because people are gonna look at that situations where they're one and done. Everybody looking at them, everybody's pretty much saying they're one and done because of their inexperience. So now, and we're not hoping, but more so, you'll have AD and LeBron pretty much at the best they can. Now nobody's gonna be 100% come this time of year. But you'll have them playing at a high level. So
I would like to, I'm looking at it now, right? But the 4th and the 5th seed, if the Lakers get the 5th seed, I wouldn't mind wanting to see that Lakers versus the Suns. Because I think if there is a team that probably could beat the Suns, will probably be the Lakers, because the Lakers is deep. And I think the Suns gave up a lot of their depth to get KD. And nobody wants to talk about that. You know what I mean? And I think, I ain't saying LeBron will be at a lot, because I was trying to figure out, well, who would stick KD? And I said they probably put LeBron there because, they got Vanderbilt also. And I think Vanderbilt probably stick Booker.
Part of me, I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like pick your poison.
Right.
Like, me with Kevin Durant is like, because the way he shut down Luka, I was like, I might start him. I might start Jared initially on KD.
Really?
And I think it switched because with him it's weird because like I can see Kevin Durant going off in that series. Like it's weird. Like Kevin Durant has I don't know. Kevin Durant just has that ability to just like take over.
Right,
and it's
I got you.
Like, yeah.
I feel like they gave him up. I feel like something's wrong with KD because I was like, why would the net, regardless if they were just good business or blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm the Nets. You giving up Kyrie? I'm not giving up Kevin Durant especially when he already signed the contract. He probably just didn't want to be. But I when they traded him, I said, man, I think something wrong with him, and they not just saying anything. You know what I mean?
And I think it was just out of desperation because I kept, and it was funny because I remember when we talked about it in the summer because we were like,
right,
okay, like you making a trade request, and it's almost like it gets to a point where the value of it might diminish, and I think Brooklyn, in essence, probably was like, you know what, let's just get out of this deal, period, at all costs, because I think because we even talked about the Mikal Bridges trade thing was coming in the summer, and I'm like, well, I like Mikal Bridges, but I need like an all-star. I need, even though I think he will become an all-star down the line, but I need something, an all-star, like somebody who played in Utah in February. I need that in return for Kevin Durant.
Right.
But that obviously didn't happen. I think it's just one of those things where they had to make a move. Like it's kind of one of those where it's like, we got to do it now, even though he's still under contract for the next 4 years. But we got to do something with that. So to me, it was like a desperate move, but they did what they had to do. But yeah,
I think the Lakers is deeper than the Suns. That's why I mean. I think it's more. That one's interesting because I'm like, if there is a team that might be able to beat the Suns, I think the Lakers can, because regardless, Ayton, I think AD can kill Ayton. You know what I'm saying? And then it would probably most likely be on Kevin Durant to do what Kevin Durant do. But is he really gonna go all out on LeBron sticking or Vanderbilt? You know what I mean?
At this thing with him, it's like he's a wild card. Ain't he a wild card? But I mean, he's a guy that I'm gonna do my best on him, because Kevin Durant can tear you apart.
So think about it. What if the Suns lose that? They would lose that one. What if they lose that? You know how the playoffs will be a extreme toss up. Then you'd be like,
for sure, yeah, because, because even though they're in that 4th seed, they're still like a favorite, because obviously you just look at what they have on paper, and I know people, and then Golden State, you still look at what they can do now, like as far as now bringing, Andrew Wiggins coming back. I think that's going to definitely help rejuvenate them in a sense. So they're so that's why I like that 4-5 is really interesting, because that's going to potentially set up if Golden State stays at 5, that's going to set up that Denver. And I think that's where, like, that second round series where, that's when you'll say, okay, whoever, can both of these teams, we still think these two teams could potentially beat Denver in the 7-game series. And then that's their path to the Western Conference Finals. And then, on that side of the bracket, even though it's an 18 bracket, but on the other side, on that side of the bracket of the playoffs. So, yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I was thinking today, I knew we was going to talk about this. Like, what teams do you think, if this stuff don't work out, that's going to probably have to blow their team up? What teams you think in both sides, East and West, that's probably going to have to make some serious moves?
First, in the East, Miami.
There you go. Yeah.
Even though regardless of how they fare, I still think, even if they make it to the finals, but I think they got to win a championship. If they don't win a championship, I look at Boston potentially.
Me too.
I think Boston, as far as what they're gonna do with Jaylen Brown, I don't think they're gonna blow up the team, but I think they're gonna look at maybe Jaylen Brown, like moving maybe Jaylen Brown to kind of acquire somebody else.
Right.
So that, I would say Chicago, but it's almost like they really can't do nothing. Like, you can blow it up, but the house still gonna be there.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be bare bones. But in the West, well, I know Dallas ain't gonna make it, but damn, like, they can, unless the Thunder kind of have a bad couple days.
Oh, hold on before you keep going, because I want you to keep going. Dallas reminds me, I think there's somebody in Mark Cuban's ear and saying, man, you're going to have to let this Luka dude go, because I think he is the real issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know everybody like him, but he ain't Dirk. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not Dirk Nowitzki. He's not Steve Nash. He's different. You know what I'm saying? And I know you want to hold on to it because they're a foreign player and he's great, but you are you messing up your franchise. Y'all been really downsliding for what, 2-3 years now. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to find. Well, it was working, because before the Kyrie Irving trade, They was like second or third in the West. Like they had one of the best records in the Western Conference.
But it's something going on, and I think he's having issues with the coach with Jason Kidd.
Are we surprised? I mean, you know. I'm just saying. I mean, he's not the first point guard under the tutelage of Jason Kidd to be dissatisfied. I mean, we've been down this road multiple times, people. I mean, I don't point no fingers or place no blame on nobody, but if it quacks like a duck, damn it, it's a duck,
right?
You know, but I don't know, but so we talked about them. I think a team that might need to blow it up in the West, maybe Denver. Because a part of me, to me, they get the number 1 seed, and if they lose again, and because I think that if everything's constructed the way if the season ended tonight, and we talked about the matchup that I want the Phoenix to go to State,
right?
Denver has a chance of maybe losing the second round, and once again, that's not going to cut it. I mean, especially for a team, especially the success they've had in the past, I think they'll be a team. I think Memphis will be fine. I'm going out to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yep.
I think everybody goes because even with Phoenix, you give a pass because Kevin Durant came first week of February, so you're like, okay,
and Chris Paul on his way out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they don't have to they have to bring some people in and
Clippers.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the Clippers for sure. Like if they don't win a championship, it's a wrap because I know people saying as far as Tyronn Lue future, as far as as far as I've even heard rumblings, potential rumors that he may resign after the season. I've heard that, it's nothing really like published anything. There's rumors allegedly. So, and
you can say the Lakers too. You can say
I think that's kind of a given.
Right.
I think because now I think they're at a crossroads. Because and then it's like, what do you do? Because it's almost like with LeBron, okay, what do you like? No, but I'm serious. I mean,
no, for real.
But you're at a point now where, okay, you got superstars about to turn 39 in December. Like, we know what he's doing is fantastic at his age, but we gotta start looking at stuff down the line.
Right.
And then with Anthony Davis, it's crazy to think. It's almost like I'd rather would keep LeBron than Anthony Davis. And when you sit down and you think about it, in theory, if you just take everything out, a guy that's 29 years old,
right,
or a guy that's about to turn 40 next December, in 2024,
right?
Like, because we know AD's probably not gonna be that. Like once LeBron leaves, he's gonna be the one that you really want to carry this franchise, especially just do with his injury history and what have you. So it's gonna be a toss up. Yeah, I mean the Lakers gonna have to do something. And I do like the piece that they got, going forward. So I definitely think they have a team, a team that got, with youth. So they did get some good assets in those trades that they did in the offseason. I mean, not offseason, but during the season. So you can build with a D'Angelo Russell, Jarrett Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Scottie Pippen Jr. stepdaddy.
And one of the reasons I brung it up was because, I was thinking about the bubble, and I had spoke on Utah and Portland, and it was somebody else. It was Utah, and I think it was Denver. But I said one of them teams are going to have to make a push, or they're going to have to blow it up. They blew up Utah. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at Portland. Same thing. Portland got knocked out. They one of the reasons why they made the play-in game. We'll talk about that some other time, though. But they lost in the first round. They end up blowing it up. Fired the coach, brung in Billups, whatever. Chauncey Billups. But so now I'm looking at Denver because Jamal Murray, he balled in the bubble, but he's been hurt ever since.
Yeah.
Can he play at the level he did before? Michael, what's his name? Michael Parker Jr. What's his name? That's his name? Michael Porter Jr.
Porter. Yeah.
Yeah, you put a lot of emphasis in him. He be balling somewhat, but is he really worth holding on to? You know what I'm saying?
And I was shocked that they got rid of Bose Howling. I was
That's
really
right.
shocked, like when they got rid of him. So I definitely thought because he would be a nice young core piece to this team, but the Lakers got him. I mean not Lakers, but the Clippers got him. So hey, it's all good.
So I'm just sitting back and I'm looking. I'm like, okay, this gonna mean something because like Kyrie and KD gone. They not on the same team no more. You know, that's when they had signed was that year. You know what I'm saying? They go play for the Nets. So I'm starting to look at everybody. Okay, it's about time for some teams to really start blowing up they squad. Like Brown and Tatum been playing together since LeBron was, playing for the Cavs. So, they went to the finals. Maybe that's the ceiling. I definitely, for me, I'm going to say definitely the Raptors. I'm going to say Philly. Like, I'm like, what are they really doing? Like they've been staying in the same little area. They done lost to everybody. You know what I'm saying? They done lost to everybody. So in the same little area. So what do y'all got? Y'all got two coaches. What's next? Like,
Harden about to leave. So free agent next summer.
So it's gonna be interesting. I just thought about that. You know what I'm saying?
And then part of me now to kind of, thinking about it too. Atlanta, because now you look at bringing in Quinn Snyder, which I know he's going to do something like as far as do something. I know a lot of people talk about getting rid of Trey,
right?
And I'm like, okay. I mean, what you're going to get from him? I'll be intrigued as far as what deals he can get for Trae Young. So I don't know. It's going to be definitely interesting to say the least as far as how that's going to go. But
One more thing, I'm ready for a lot of these older guys to retire. No lie, like I love LeBron, but to me, I'm ready for LeBron to go. I'm happy Haslam leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really time to give that seat to some of these young players. You know what I mean? You're in the way.
Yeah, my thing is with LeBron. I just don't. My thing is I just don't want him to wait for Bronny in a sense, because a part of me will he be ready next year? That's the thing about it. Will he be ready next year? As far as coming out in the NBA, and I don't want it, and I get where LeBron's coming from. He want to play with his son, but I've always said, I just don't want it to be like a circus. When I think it will be, it'll be a media circus and just in general.
He need to he could do whatever. I'm not knocking him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not knocking either, but
let him have his shine, man. Let them both have their shine, B. Like for real.
Yeah, and that's my.
My bad, B. I mean, overtalk you, but he already got it. He went to Ohio State. They were screaming his name. They didn't say LeBron James' son. They said Bronny. He already got it. All you got to do is back out. Just go on ahead, hit the moonwalk, and let Bronny do his thing. It may not be as great as yours, but you did what you're supposed to. Like, just step out, let him do him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't want him to be in a situation where, like you said, just to take away. Like I always said. And I don't want it to be a situation where he's not ready, and then once LeBron leaves, nobody's gonna really give a damn about him. That's my biggest fear about that, and that's my thing too. Where I like that, but then it's almost like, but at what cost will that be? Because people gonna want you because it's a package deal,
right?
Once the father leaves, what's gonna leave the son? Because I don't want him to just sit on the bench somewhere in the G League, just wasting away, where he could have been. He could have been having some formative years, either at Oregon, USC, Ohio State, or wherever he wants to go, or wherever he plans to go next year. So, I just hope, like you said, I just hope it's just. I just don't want it to be the circus that I envision it's going to be.
Right. It's already good. It's already the circus. You know what I mean? But right.
But yeah, we have pre-sale tickets for the circus. But when that happens,
hey, I'm sure his circus, right, will be better than Zion's. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but
No
I
disrespect
think
to Zion, but that circus has been very disappointing to me. Like,
well,
like people,
yeah, the one that rolled into Durham was
right?
it was
Like we was talking about that. I was like, yo, they promoted blah blah blah, and he heard this. I know people sitting there like, hold up, I just paid $5,000 for these tickets
yep.
for a tour shoe.
I'm like, no way. That's why you would not catch me at a game or that type of magnitude, spend all that kind of money. And then that happens. And same thing we watch on television for free.
Word, and it seemed like, I mean, I don't mean to be rude, man. I think that maybe they need to move on. Maybe that'll takes. Maybe he, what I'm saying, take just like Grant Hill. Remember when Grant Hill came in and there was all that expectation, and he balled, but then he hurt his foot,
Yeah, oh,
and
man.
then blah blah blah. But then it took some. Then he went to Orlando, was getting hurt all the time. But then once that spotlight kind of went the other way, he was still able to give you some years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Detroit Grant Hill. Oh man, Detroit Grant Hill was like
Monster.
oh man, it was out the charts. Like that's how like I think that's one thing too. Like that's like one of those like you had to be there. Like I mean, YouTube videos don't do it justice. You actually had to be there. You had to watch these games on television, and yeah, Grant Hill was a monster, man. He was a beast.
His wife is fine.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he's a damn vampire. I seen him the other day. I'm like, damn, dude, I need to start drinking more water. I'm like, dude, like 50 years old and almost look the same. He gray now a little bit, but he's gray, but yeah, he still look like he did in the 90s.
He represents the one of the owners of the Hawks.
Yeah,
but him and his partner, I think they either bought another team or did something recently, and I can't remember though. That his face, I cannot remember. Man, I don't even know why I brung it up. But it was something big, and that's when they was like, man, you already got the Hawks, man, and now you're making this move to do this, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Did y'all sell your team yet?
It's still some bitters with that. So I think it's probably I know the owner of the Sixers, his name like Harris. I think he's in the group with Magic Johnson. There's a couple of people put a few bids in, but nothing's been sold yet.
Okay.
But it's gonna happen eventually. But I don't know. It's crazy because I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and I'm like, until they say they sold, I'm not even gonna celebrate it until it's official. Like that's just to me. This whole saga, it feel like an episode of Good Times. Every time that you think something good gonna happen, then something bad happen, and you're like, you know what? Forget this. I'm like, I hear, he's gonna sell the shares. He's gonna get be invested with Bank of America, and then you think, okay, we're gonna be sold. James gonna take us to Mississippi. Lord, James and died in a car accident, and then they talking about Jeff Bezos got rejected from the deal, and I'm like, damn. So it's like until this thing is said and done, when the money is deposited in the Dan Snyder's account for $6 billion, that's the day where I will rejoice. But until then, unless Keith gonna bring us out the ghetto, if he don't break his leg playing for the Bears, Phil, my husband, don't bail us out and put us in a high rise in Chicago, then I celebrate. But hopefully Keith need to be all right.
Right.
God rest the dead, Keith. Well, his name was Keith, wasn't it? The football player. What was her husband? His name was Keith, wasn't it?
I don't know.
His name. Anyway. But yeah, he died in real life. Though.
But I wonder if his name was in that, because it was something like that. It was something that he was a part of. They just bought something that was major, and him and his partner was part of it. And he spoke on it. And I cannot remember. I don't know if it was an NFL team. There was somebody just sold an NFL team.
I know the Broncos, but that was last year. But that's the Walter family.
Okay.
But
anyway.
But yeah, it's a few bids on the line. I know one of the guys, it was Canadian guy. I think he's teaming up with Magic.
Okay.
So they're the odds-on favorite, but I think a few people put in their bid for $6 billion. Yikes! That's crazy to think. After all this issues with Washington, this team is still worth $6 billion.
Right.
I tell you that.
You know, WWE
franchise. Oh my God.
WWE. Vince McMahon bought WWF from his dad at $1 million, and over the weekend he sold it to an umbrella company that owns UFC 2. That company bought 51% of it for $6.3 billion.
Isn't that something?
And he still can run it just like Dana White. But we had, if you guys watch, some old Couch Coach Live, we talked about that. It was around the Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's something, man. Like that stuff, it prints out money. Like even with the dysfunction of Washington, it's still worth $6 billion. Could you imagine? Could you imagine an organization that has so much failures can be worth that much? It's just the NFL. It always trips me out. Like regardless of how you run your company, good, bad, or indifferent, it's still worth billions of dollars.
Right.
It's just amazing how that's man. To have that kind of money and just know that you're gonna make a profit off of that.
I'm trying to figure out how come y'all charging coaches for coffee.
Yeah, it might be Daniel. It might be Daniel's funny, man. That's funny when he said that. But Michael Daniels, I doubt they do it now. But I mean, because Michael Daniels was like in 2011. It's been about 12, 13 years since he's been here.
But like you said, though, you went to Atlanta and you were saying how the prices was affordable and all that other stuff,
Oh yeah, that's that was crazy. I was like, man, this is like fast food prices. Because you're not used to, like, especially when you go to the thing,
right.
Like, all right, I'm gonna spend like some money, but I think I have spent like less than like $15.
That's because that's Atlanta, and you are a fan of a Washington DC team, and everything up there is expensive.
And it's weird because I think they're like one of the only teams that like really have like cheap concessions, and it's weird, like how,
really,
yeah, like gosh, like if you go, I remember I forgot but yeah, most of the places they're expensive, like, even like, cause you think like FedEx is like one of the oldest stadiums in the NFL, one of the worst stadiums in the NFL, but they charge you an arm and a leg. I can imagine, because I haven't been to FedEx in years. I can imagine how much stuff costs now, especially with the hyperinflation.
Mm-hmm.
It would be crazy how much stuff would cost now.
Right.
But
man, I was looking at the standings. The Nets better hope that they don't lose out, because they're messing around the Heat. Win one more game, they probably can get out the play-in.
Yeah, I mean, you got Mikal Bridges and them boys.
Right.
On the play-in. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely be interesting down this stretch. We only got a few games left to go.
Yeah, it's probably actually they might be all right though. It's all good.
But let's see. It's 42 and 38. Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be definitely interesting race to the finish of who's gonna get, because pretty much, hey, it's at the point now, hey, is you gonna get a week rest,
right?
Or you playing Tuesday and Wednesday night?
I'm just interested because I know they signed the CBA. I can't wait to see, because they're gonna have that tournament. And then the reason that, like I was telling somebody today, they only made the playing game because there was so many stars getting hurt. And when they made it, definitely because of the bubble, but teams like Portland, because Dame and CJ McCollum was hurt a lot. You know what I mean? And they were starting to come back and they were starting to make a run so they could make it to the playoffs. But when they had those, 2, 3, 4 months off, they didn't have time to be able to try to make a run. So they came up with the play-in game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So which was great basketball for everybody. It also started Memphis being who Memphis is. You know what I mean? Started Phoenix being who Phoenix is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of that bubble is a trip because there's a lot of ups and downs in people's careers since then. I don't think LeBron and AD been the same since the bubble.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, oh yeah, because they only been in the playoffs once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, Murray. I don't even think Butler is playing like he did when he was in the bubble.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too, where he had nothing to do. There's no distractions.
Right.
And that's why like people, and I know people talk about like as far as it was great shooting performances and all that type of stuff, but like probably because the distractions. You remember the whole situation? You couldn't bring a woman in there.
Right.
She had to be a long time friend.
Right.
It ain't no restrictions today.
Right.
It could be a long term, short term, Instagram term friendship.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like you gotta think about it. That's probably they played great basketball because they were focused, and then they didn't have to worry about no fans.
Right.
So it's like I understand. Like a lot of people like there's a difference. It's a world of difference, and like you could do nothing but what could you do?
To me,
all you can do is eat, get a haircut,
right. So
that's
stupid.
it.
But I also felt like the games that we saw is what we don't see. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear them stories about these dudes playing them games in the gym and you know what I'm saying? And that's why I felt it was like just really good basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, what else could they do? Ain't no distraction now. You think about now. You play a game, you go off your own, you go on your own merry way.
Right.
Versus here in the bubble, in the bubble, you going to the hotel, you chilling, grab something to eat. That's all you can do is hoop.
Right.
So, right. I mean, you got no distractions. You're a little long time friend, or you got a situation that pop off, and you're like, hey, pull up after the game. I'll be, I get you on the other side of the arena. Be me in the parking garage.
Right. But I think people aren't understanding the importance of the NBA. They really was heroes by saying, I'm gonna leave my family, I'm gonna go play. You know what I mean? Like it was deeper than what it was. Like people just forgot that there was COVID. You know what I'm saying? And we couldn't do anything. You hear people say, yeah, a lot of those guys didn't want to be there. Well, what were they going to do? You know what I mean? I know it was some places didn't shut down, but they didn't have to come. Some people didn't come, but they came. You know what I mean? So trust me, they be killing me with that, man. Oh man, it was nothing, blah, 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 So this is the thing. Okay, so the next season they didn't even have fans in the stands hardly. So are you going to take the Bucks championship from them? You know what I mean? Because they won the next year, right?
Yeah, they won. Yeah.
All right. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I was cool with it. Like, I have a problem with it. Everybody had these issues with it. And I'm like, man, what am I supposed to complain? If I like basketball and they playing it in the midst of all this, I'm gonna watch it. So people always say, yeah, that's a Mickey Mouse championship, but you go somewhere without your family for 3 months, and you tell me how that mess feels.
They don't say nothing about the Spurs with the short season. It's just always something, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because even with that, I like, but that don't, like, to me, that's not the players' fault.
Right.
Like, they had an impasse when it came to negotiate with the CBA. Somebody was going to win anyway.
Right.
So why not them?
It's crazy too, man. Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, damn, look how many teams. Remember the Rockets? they blew that team up right after.
Right, and that's the thing. Yeah, and I'm like, I didn't have a problem with it. I'm like, damn, you think about it? Because you got people understand basketball players live a different life than we do. Right. So for them to be restricted for 3 months, for some of them, like, we think about the Lakers and the Heat, for them to be restricted, because I mean, like I was telling my folks, how I go on Amazon and like, oh, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they get women. They go Instagram and be like, you know what? I want this. Double tap, hit the DM, and then meet me. Like I said, I had you on the other side of the arena. Meet me in the parking garage.
Right.
That's their lifestyle.
Right.
So it's like, so they were robbed of that opportunity. So to me, I understand. Like,
I mean, it's even more than that. Like the people that sat down and planned it out, the people who put it together, the people that put the screens up where you got to see like celebrities and people got to watch the game that way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, like it was a lot of things that they did to put together, man, that they worked hard to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, it was good times. We said back then we thought it was the worst of times, but that was some good times. Some good times in 2020.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll put a bow on tonight's Couch Coach Live. So we'll give out game balls first. Who gets this week's game ball for ya?
Oh man. Yeah. Them watching the game is not a good thing. I'm giving it to Joel Embiid. He's been balling in the month of March. I put a bunch of his numbers on, but he definitely just got April 4th. He got 52 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. Balling and is so I'm giving it to him. Hopefully just be his year to get the MVP.
I don't know. The way your boy Perk's saying. I mean, your boy Perk thinks a little bit different.
What Perk said? He said, who did he say it should go to? Joker?
He said he's probably Joker because of his complexion. Remember?
Yeah.
He was saying that, so But I see where you're going. You're voting for Joel B because he's black. No. I know, that was fun. Like Perk is funny, man. Perk is hilarious. Right. But Matt's got to go to the legend himself, as Grant Hill coined the phrase "GOAT." Jim Nance. Once again, obviously he's been covering the Final Four. Been the lead broadcaster for that since 1991. So he did announce in October of last year that this was going to be his last run at covering college basketball. So he went on in great fashion. His phrase "Hello, friends," and then at the end of the broadcast, he said, "Thank you for being my friend." And you kind of see sound like it was more like kind of a choked up moment for him. And I just love the fact that even despite him, as far as we know this was his last time, he didn't make the moment about himself. And I think that's the beauty thing about what Jim Nance did. Very, great job at covering the game on Monday. Well, as far as broadcasting the game on Monday, just doing his thing and it made the moment about the game and didn't have as far as he made the game what it was really all about. And and then he did his phrase, "Thank you for being my friend." I thought that was such a poignant moment, and but hell of a run for Jim Nance. And it's funny, this time of year I'm always envious of Jim Nance because obviously he gets to cover the Final Four, and then he goes to Augusta for the Masters. So I always think, man, what a hell of a week, to have, as far as go from one, great event to the next.
Right.
So definitely huge shout out to Jim Nance. Hell of a career. I'm covering college basketball. Yeah, man, definitely. What a great send off that he had on Monday. So definitely the game will miss him, but it'll be in good hands when I got Iron Eagle. So we'll definitely look forward to hearing Iron Eagle calling games for CBS during the NCAA tournament in 2024. So it's definitely a huge shout out to Jim Nance. So all right, so before we head on out, final thoughts and we'll wrap it up.
Oh man, great show having me here. You know what I'm saying? DT Morgan, 78 Instagram, Sean Morgan Facebook. You know what I mean? Great show.
Yeah, once again, another great show. So follow the podcast in the way you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify. We're there, Couch Coach Live. social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. Also, the website, couchcoachlive.com. Also, go on the website, check out doing some articles there, doing some post-game recaps. So especially like for the kickers, couchcoachlive.com/Richmond Kickers. You for every home game that I attend, we do recaps on that. And then also if you want to if you got jonesing for some basketball, go to Couch Coach Live/BC Rams, a couple of write-ups that I have for the women's and the men's games, recaps of those games. So once again, another great show. We'll follow us go on social media. We have some updates about a show that we might be doing earlier in the week. So we'll get that updated for you guys on social media. So we'll get that squared away. So once again, another great show in the books. And don't forget to check out the podcast on Apple, Spotify there. Share with a friend. Listen to the pod. Give us the suggestions and everything's all that concerned. And until then, man, we'll catch you guys next week. And we're out.